Welcome back to Power CEO's Truth Behind the Business. I am here with JP Newman, and we are talking about our favorite topic, folks, money. How do we generate the money we need, have the financial security that we need so we can live our best life? And as entrepreneurs, we know a lot of times we're really good at making it. We're not so good at understanding how to turn that into wealth that works for us in other ways. So I've curated it. You asked, I listened. We are going to dive right in and get down and dirty with this framework for moving forward and really on purpose investing in the life that we want with JP. Tell me more.
Yeah, so what's really important is once you know your number of where you want to go, then let's start on a framework. And I start with the wealth pyramid. And the wealth pyramid is really simple. At the bottom is your liquidity. Liquidity is anything that you have in your portfolio, cash, stocks, it can be crypto, anything that you can sell in 7 days and create cash from it. That is defined as liquidity.
So let me ask you, because this question is going to come up. Well, but Jen and JP, when I go for a loan, they only take about 50% or consider 50% of my stock portfolio. So how should I be looking at this?
Definition is anything that truly you could validate, you could cash in, you could call on the phone in 7 days, have that cash as the number of your liquidity at the bottom. So it's not what it might be worth. It's not a mark to market value. It's cash value is how you think of it. What's it worth today? Roughly is how you should think about your liquidity. At the center, the heart of this whole thing is the wealth pyramid. And the wealth pyramid goes around cash flow. And so you're looking at how much cash flow do I have coming in? And that's like the very, very heart of what you're doing. Cash flow is your liberation. Remember, that is the ticket to winning. And the very, very top of the pyramid is speculation. And that's about 5%. That's like almost nothing. It's 5 or 10%. And what I found through the years is that most people, because they don't have a plan, they tend to over speculate. And they tend to put too much at that risk at the top of the pyramid, where your money is slow and boring. It's a little bit of cash flow every time. And the way you kind of look at the formulas is this. You basically have to ask yourself, and it's different for every person, how much liquidity do I need to sleep well at night? I tell most people the answer is, depending on your lifestyle and where you're at in your life and your age, is somewhere between 6 months and 2 years. It just really depends on your style. And defined as liquidity is the way I defined it. And then everything else, you should be working on your investments that create more and more cash flow for you. Here's the fun part. Once you know you're at 6 months or 12 months, whatever your cash flow is, let's just say in your liquidity bucket, let's just say you have $100,000 more cash than you need. You've already got the number. This is the fun part. Pick 5, no more than 10 max of things that you love to invest in. What I would define as things that you're interested in, things that you believe in, and things that you understand. Because most people, here's how they invest. My friend here said this, Elon Musk said this, CNBC said this, and you're investing with what other people think, and you don't understand the investment, and you don't understand the risk you're getting into. And remember, every time you lose money because you didn't understand the risk, exponentially, you're sending yourself further and further backwards. And it's so easy. If you just go simple, calculated, and slow, you will win the game. Trust me. I've seen this so many times. So in other words, let's just say you identify for you, you're really into AI and real estate. Let's pick 5 or 6 companies that you love to follow anyways. And I like to use the analogy, it's almost like going to the store, even like shopping for a leather jacket. Like, you know the leather jacket you want, it's Italian and it's got zippers. Think of your investments that way as well. You're going shopping, know the prices, and wait till it hits a sale price and strike. Don't be in a rush. Wait. And as soon as you get that on the sale, guess what it goes? It goes from your liquidity bucket, you bought it on a sale, and it goes into your cash flow bucket. And now your cash flow bucket's growing. And then what do you do next? You wait for your next sale shopping. When there's a jolt in the stock market, when crypto has a bad week, when real estate, like in this cycle, real estate's gonna go through, it's already started a discounting period. This is the time in those areas. Know them well, understand them, and I promise you a couple things. If you don't understand them, if your best friend told you about something but he doesn't have quite the answers, and if it's angel investing or Series A, I promise you those are all at the top of the bucket. Those are all going to be speculation. You may not think it's speculation. Your friend may tell you it's a sure thing. I just had a very funny AI pitch. It was a sure thing until I asked 5 questions, and then I realized it wasn't a sure thing. So again, but at the same time, I'll tell you on the top of the pyramid, Bet on people. I say bet on the jockey. Bet on people that you love, and then on areas that you love, and people that have track record of winning. And you know what? Like, let's say we were to do an investment together on either side. I get to be in relationship with you now. So there's some investment capital, and I use a small amount of money. I have a set amount of money at the top of my pyramid. There's small investment chunks, but it's just to get started with something. If that company or that idea is doing well, then I can double down, triple down. So for instance, I did a deal in Austin. It's a group that has figured out that mushrooms, the mycelium, the roots, can eat through plastic. And they're launching a diaper that comes out, and this person's had repeated success, but I know if that's actually, they crack this, it's gonna change plastics in the world. We can save our oceans. I have to be part of that because I believe in the jockey track record. She's already had 2 big successes. And that is a really important thing to me. So why wouldn't I put a little money in there? And I can tell you, I did that investment 3 years ago. It's just launching. I've already got the relationships, the knowledge of me sticking through the cutting edge of how we're going to get rid of plastic. It's already paying off for me before I see any kind of return on investment.
Because honestly, there's 2 things that we can't lose. It's our knowledge.
Yeah.
It's our knowledge, and truthfully, if we hold our integrity and we build our relationships, that's going to be the gift that keeps giving as well.
It keeps paying back.
And we've talked about that a lot here. And what I heard in what you just said with your speculation bucket is, folks, 5 to 10%. So many times I agree with you. Everybody goes on the next best thing or what everybody's listening to. You know when I buy when stocks are on sale. When everybody else is leaving.
Shop on sale.
Yeah, when everybody else is leaving and they're freaking out and those numbers are in the dumps, like that's when I'm buying, because I know if I invest in the right companies that I know enough about, and I'm educated and I look at their economics, and I do a lot of research on what I have stocks on as well. But I know if I buy it on sale, it's going to go up.
Exactly. And the last piece of this is that once you know your pyramid and where you're trying to get to, then try to come up with your own reinvestment rate. And a reinvestment rate is, if I had to take all my investments and once a year look at my portfolio, what do I want to get as a return on that money that's going to get me to my abundant lifestyle? Again, we're connecting this to an emotion and an experience of how you want to live. It's not just a number out there. And then you get really clear. So for instance, let's say you have a reinvestment rate of 10%, and you had $100,000 to invest, then your goal is to make $10,000 a year. If it's $1 million, you're trying to make $100,000 a year. And here's a really key point. A lot of people, they trust their financial planners, but as you guys know, you get your statements from these big houses, they don't want to tell you how you're doing.
They don't.
Like, they hide it from you. So you really have to stay on top of it, and I would really suggest that quarterly, you either find someone, an accountability partner on this, or you find someone that can actually in English help you with the reports, so you can see how are you doing on your reinvestment rate. And when I do my reinvestment rate, I have allocation buckets. I have 5 buckets. From the safest, what's the safest? Treasury bills, savings accounts, CDs. And then the most risky, which is my 5, which is only 5 or 10%, that's the speculation. That's the diapers. That's a startup company that's doing diapers with, that's going to be plastic eating.
It's an AI startup in a lot of cases these days.
Correct. And it's so much fun to do that, but I know when to stop. It's almost like I've given myself poker chips to play in that thing. And I know when to stop, and I know when I find the right person that I want to be in relationship with. And now I know where it fits. Again, everything fits and it's really clear. And for me, I've been doing this now for about 10 years after going through interviewing 10s and 20s, and just so many people from the top investment banking houses. And I was so amazed, Jen, they really don't manage money well. It's very one-dimensional. Get up, diversified portfolio of stocks, or they'll tell you basic things, but they're not looking at your whole picture. And they're not even connecting it to your happiness or your purpose or your relationships or how all these things interact. This money is really important for me so I can take my kids on the dream vacations. And that's actually what I've done. Every year as my kids have gotten older, I like to take them for 2 to 4 weeks on dream vacations.
I love that.
With the family. That's like, and I know when I'm in those dream vacations, we've been all over. We've been to Slovenia, we've taken sailboats, we've been to Japan, and there's highly curated. My emotional experience when I'm having those trips is one of gratitude, joy, and all that hard work. When I'm having a really hard day at work or something's going on, I know why I'm doing it. And I get all this time being anchored into my why and not just stuck in my how.
Yep, I totally
feel.
Does
that make sense?
It does, and unfortunately, we do have to conclude. But JP, as people, are listening to this and they're wanting to learn more, I know you're very big on education. I know you have a podcast. How can people reach out to you if they want to learn more about this? Because a lot of times as entrepreneurs, we miss this bucket. And in a previous episode, we talked about the rule of 130. And if all your net worth is locked up in your business, it's time to diversify and think about what's going to give me that cash flow outside of just my business. How can they reach out to you?
Yeah, a great way to start would be to listen to my podcast, because a lot of this is on my podcast and it spells it out in detail. And that would be at Investing on Purpose. And Investing on Purpose is on all the major Spotify, Apple, YouTube. You can watch it, you can hear it, but that's a great way to start. And I'd say if you really want more information, my company is called Thrive FP, which is Frank Peter, so thrivefp.com. And on there, you'll learn a lot about, again, I do cash flow real estate. So within the pyramid, my specialty is cash flow real estate. I'd be happy if you want to look on the site, take a look, and any questions, feel free to reach out at that point. All the information's there on the website.
Fantastic. And I want to ask you, what is the one thing you want to leave our audience with as an action step that they can take today that will move them forward in this journey?
Yeah, I would say the very first thing to do is know your burn rate. Really know today, it's early in the year, it's January. Take a look and allocate where you're at. Are you happy? And if not, I call it the Starbucks exercise. Go to Starbucks, go anywhere and take a piece of paper and write your dream 36 months in the future of what you really want. What does it look like? What does it feel like? And be audacious. Don't stop and say, I can't do that, I can't afford it. Use your muscle of what you actually really, really want. That is a great place to start. And from there, we can do all kinds of fun things as far as the launch of your financial plan. So I'd say your burn rate is step one. There's 7 steps to 4-dimensional wealth. Step 1 is know your burn rate. Step 2 is the Starbucks exercise.
There you go. You guys have it. Please do this exercise. And if you've already got an idea and you're already on this journey, many of us are, there's always a good idea to go through this motion again to know, am I on track? Am I happy? Can I sleep at night? And what that is, because for many of us, our investment number gets kicked down the curb and it just, once we reach it, we forget that we reached what we set out and we start looking at what's next. It's a good idea to sit down with this exercise and do this no matter where you are in your process so that you can really embody that and go to sleep at night and feel really good about yourself. We do have to take a brief break. I encourage all of you to reach out to JP. Check out his podcast. It is phenomenal. And we will be right back after these messages.